Hello guys, welcome back to Tech Projects. I am back with another part of Notes app series. So in this part, we are going to complete the UI of our Notes app, and from the next part, we will start writing the Kotlin code of room database. So this is the final part for the UI. So let's start developing our Notes app. And if you don't check out the previous part and previous demo, so please check out that videos before moving on this video. So now let's start the video, and if you don't subscribe to the channel, then please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification for more Android and web relevant projects. So now let's start the video. So I open my project, I expand this. So in previous part I done this code and I paste the all project structure where I paste some drawable resources, fonts, icons and lots of other things. Now in this part we have to complete the UI, remaining UI. So this is our activity main, this is our fragment node. So in previous part we done this. So now first of all, let's make some code for our bottom sheet dialog and also for our recycler view item. Then we will start writing the code of our fragment save or delete node, and then we will finalize the UI. So right click on your layout, then you have to click on new, then you have to click on layout resource file, and from here you can give any file name. It is your choice, whatever you want to give. So I simply give the bottom sheet layout, but you can give any name, and click on OK. Now click on split, and from here what kind of layout you need, we are going to with material card view. So I simply type here material card view, this one, and simply give any ID to this. So I give the ID bottom sheet container. It will hold the UI of our bottom sheet, and set the layout with rep content, and height is also rep content. Now inside this material card view, what we need to take, we need to take a constraint layout. So simply take a constraint layout here, set the layout with match parent, height match parent, and I give the ID here bottom sheet container, this one, and for this you have to give any ID bottom sheet parent. This is fine. Now close this. Now after this, what I need here, I need first of all I need an image view to show a tint here on our bottom sheet to a vector asset. So simply take an image view, and then you have to give any ID. It is your choice, whatever you want to give. So I simply give the ID 40dp, height is 6dp is fine, and then we have to give any, first of all give the margin 10dp, it is fine, and then give any ID. So I give the ID here bar, and scale type with xy. Then we have to set the source compact source, and the source is shape image, this one. Now we have to set the constraint. So end to end of parent, and then we have start to start of parent, and then we have a top to top of parent. Then close this. So you can see it is present here successfully. And instead of Android source, we have to give here app source, app src compact, this one. Now below this image view, what we need to take, we need to take a material text view. So take an open bracket, type here material text view, set the layout with 0dp, and height of this is rep content. Then we have to give a drawable start for this, drawable start, and I simply give the color lens, this one. Then after this we have a drawable padding, so I give the drawable padding 10dp, and then we have a font family. So font family sans regular. Then after this we have to set the text, so I set the text choose color, this is the string. Then after this we have a text size, so I give the text size 18sp, it is perfect. And then we have to set the constraint, so end to end of parent. Then we have a start to start off is parent also. Then we have top to bottom of bar. Now below this, don't worry, we will fix this. And then below this, what we need to take, we need to take a horizontal scroll view, set the layout with match parent, and height of this is rep content. Then scroll bars none, Then after this we have a constraint end to end of parent. Then we have a start to start of parent, and then we have a top to bottom of. And here we need to give any ID first of all, so I forget to give any ID here, so simply give any ID. I give the ID add color, then simply give the ID this name here, add color. Then after this close this. Now inside inside this horizontal scroll view, what we have to take, we have to take our color spectrum. So I already added a dependency for that, so we can take it directly. So simply take an open bracket, type here spectrum palette. You can see this one, spectrum palette, and set the layout width is rep content, height is also rep content. And then after this we have to give any ID, so I simply give the ID here color picker. You can give whatever the ID you want. And then margin top 8 dp, it is perfect. And then margin bottom 8 dp, it is fine. Then we have a auto padding of spectrum and pass it to true. Then we have a spectrum color, so here we have to pass the array which I created inside our colors.xml. Then after this we have to set the column count, so column count, and I set the column count 16 deep 16, so I need 16 color. So it is your choice how many colors you need. And then after this what I have to set outline width, and I set the outline width 0.1 dp, it is fine. So now you can see everything is perfectly aligned. Now everything is perfectly aligned here. So our bottom sheet is created successfully, and if you want to add some margin or some padding, then it is your choice, you can add, but from my side it is completely finished. So now this work is finished, and now let's design the layout of our note recycler view item. So new layout resource file, and I simply give the ID name here note item layout. This is fine. By mistake I give the wrong spelling here, but don't worry. So inside the note item layout, what I have to take, I am going to use the recycler view. So recycler, first of all take the relative layout here. Then inside this relative layout, first of all let's give a margin. So I give the margin 5 dp. Then inside this I have to take a material card view, set the layout with match parent height rep content. And then after this we have a margin, so I give the margin 5 dp. And then I have to give the ID, so I give the ID here note item layout parent. You can give any ID name, it is your choice. So after this what I clickable true, focusable true, then background, and we have to use AATR selected item background, this one. Then after this we have a card corner radius, so I simply give the card corner radius 13 dp. You can give any card elevation, and I give the elevation 5 dp. And then we have a padding, and I give the padding 5 dp. Then close this. Now inside this we have a relative layout. Inside relative layout here match parent rep content, and then we have a padding, and padding is 5 dp. Then close this. Now inside this we need to take a text view to show the content, material text view, this one. And I simply give the, first of all set the layout with match parent, height is also rep content. Then I give any ID, so I give the ID here note item title. You can give any ID. And then after this margin start 4 dp, and margin top 8 dp, margin end 4 dp, padding 5 dp, ellipse size end. Then we have a font family sans medium, not this one, sans, this one, Google Sans medium. Then after this we have a text, so I can set any sec, this is a title. Then we have a text color, so I set the text color black. Then we have a text size, so I give the text size 16 sp. Then we have a text style, so I give the text style bold, and I think this is finished now. Now one thing is left, so I simply give the text alignment text start. This is fine. Now below this material text view, what we need again a text view for the content. So I simply take an open bracket, type a text view, set the layout with match parent, height, wrap content, and I give the ID here, ID note content item. Then after this we have a layout below note item title. Then margin start is 4 dp. Then we have a margin top is 5 dp. Margin end is 4 dp, and margin bottom is 3 dp. Ellipse size end. Then we have a font family, sans, medium. Then we have a maximum lines, so I have to select the maximum lines 12. And then we have a padding, so I simply give the padding 5 dp, it is perfect. And then we have a text size, so I first of all set the text size, and I set the text size 14 sp. Then we have a text, so use this attribute tools text and set the text, some text. I add this string, this one, so you can see now this is fine. Now close this. Now at last we need again a material text view, so I can copy this code, so Ctrl C copy and paste the code here. Now here we have to give the different ID, so I give the ID name here note date. Set the layout width is wrap content, height is also wrap content, and then we have a layout below note content item. And from here we have to use different font for this, so I simply give the Google Sans regular, this one, and the text size is 12 sp. And I think we don't need any text style bold, and we can give the padding is, we already have a padding of 5 dp, so it is perfect. Now we have to set the drawable, so drawable start, and I give the drawable start is calendar today. Then drawable padding, and give the drawable padding whatever you want to give, so I think 6 dp is fine. And here instead of this text, what I can set dd yy, and from here you can also set the drawable tint if you want to set, so I set it black, and align parent and pass through. So now it is fine. So recycler view item is finally created, and now I will show you how it will going to work. So I open this fragment note, and here this is our recycler view. So if I am going to add the item, let me check, and simply add an item, tool list item, and I note item layout, so you can see it is fine. And if I am, so you can see now our recycler view is created successfully. Now this work is finished, note item layout work is finished, and let's come inside our fragment save or delete. Here we have to make some. So first of all, instead of this frame layout, what I need here, relative layout, and inside this relative layout, first of all we have to give any ID to this, so I simply give the ID here note content fragment parent, you can give any ID. Then relative layout again, and inside this relative layout, first of all we have to set the layout with match parent, and height of this is 50 dp, and I give the ID to this toolbar fragment note content, this one. Then close this. Now inside this, what I need here, image view, set the layout with wrap content, height wrap content, margin start 15 dp, and then we have a background and set the background attr selectable item borderless. Then after this we have a clickable true, focusable true, padding, and simply set the padding top 5 dp, padding and 5 dp, padding bottom 5 dp. Then we have a source and arrow back, this one. And at last what we have to give id is back button. Then close this. We can also give the padding. Now below this what we need a material text view. So I simply copy the code of material text view previously and set the layout with wrap content, and height is also wrap content. Then we have to give any id, so we have to show the date and time here. So last edited, I give this one, you can give any. And then we have center in parent and pass it to true. Now change the padding. So padding start is 13 dp, padding end is 13 dp, padding top 5 dp, padding bottom 5 dp. Font is sans regular, text size is 12, and the text I set here edit it down for now, edit it down, this is fine. And the text alignment center, and remove all kind of margins, we don't need these margins here. So you can see now it is perfectly aligned here. We can also set it center horizontal pass through here, not center horizontal, sorry, center vertical, so it is fine. Now this is also created successfully. Now below this what I have to show, we have a image view again to show the save the note. So take an open bracket, type here image view, set the layout with wrap content, and then give any id. So I give the id here, save note. You can give any id name, it is your choice. Then again we have a background, so I am going to use again attr selectable item borderless. Then what we have a focusable true and clickable true. Then we have a padding, so I give the padding 5 dp and center vertical pass true. Then after this we have to set the source, so I simply going to use the baseline source save. And at last we have align parent right and pass it to true. And we can give the margin right and little bit margin right 5 dp, it is fine. Here I give the margin start 15, so we can also give the 15 margin here, 15, and close this. And we can set the tint, drawable tint, app tint, and color black. First of all we have to import this app, black. Now this is fine, you can set according to your own colors, it is your choice. Now this work is finished, so this image view is finished, this text view is finished, this image view is finished, and this all things contained inside this relative layout, which is the toolbar of our app. Now here we need a frame layout, so type here frame layout, set the layout with match parent, height match parent, and layout above. For now simply give the layout below, fragment note content. Now inside this what we need a nested scroll view. Let's suppose user have a lots of content, so match parent id is scroll view, and then we have to close this. And first of all set the fill viewport, pass it to true. Now this nested scroll view will never work if we don't take any layout inside this, so take a linear layout and set the layout with match parent, and orientation is vertical to place the item vertically. Now inside this what we need a edit text, so set the edit text, match parent, wrap content, and margin start is 20 dp, it is fine. Then we have a background and set the background null. Margin top 10 dp, margin and 20 dp, and then margin bottom 10 dp. Then we have a id, and id is et title. Then we have an input type none. Then we have a text size 22 sp. Then important for autofill no. Then we have a font family sans medium, this one. And at last what we have to set the hint note title, then close this. Now below this what we need a marked oven edit text. So we have already imported the dependency, so you have to type this markdown edit text, this one. Set the layout with match parent height wrap content margin start 22 dp, and then we have a margin and 22 dp. Then what we have a margin top 10 dp, and then we have a background, and set the background null. Then we have font family sans regular. Then what we have hint, then important for autofill no. Then input type none, and padding 10 dp, it is fine. And then we have a text size is 16 sp, it is fine. Then id, and I give the id here edit et note content, then close this. Now below this scroll view, after the scroll view, what we need here, we need a fab button, floating action button, to show our bottom sheet dialog. Wrap content id is fab color pick, this one. Then margin, and I give the margin, so instead of margin top we have to give the margin 15 dp. And then after this we have a background tint, and I set the background tint purple. And then we have a layout gravity bottom right. Then we have a source and color lens. Tint is also purple, app tint purple. So now you can see it is fine. App background tint will work properly instead of background tint, and we can remove them. Now close this. Now this frame layout is also created successfully. Now below this what we need a linear layout to show the markdown styles, which will hold the other content of this thing, like checkboxes and lists, like this thing. So linear layout, set the layout with match parent height is 50 dp, it is fine. And then give the id, so I give the id here bottom bar. And we have to set the gravity center horizontal. Then we have orientation horizontal. Then align parent bottom pass through, then close this. Now inside this we have to declare markdown edit styles, markdown style bar. Set the layout with wrap content id is style bar. Then we have a margin is 10 dp, is fine. Elevation is 5 dp, it is fine. Then we have a padding start, we can also give the padding of 5 dp. And here we have to give the margin bottom, so I give the margin bottom 5 dp. Instead of 70 dp we can give this, so we can easily give the padding also 5 dp here. Then after this we have to close this, and for now we can set the visibility of this thing is gone, because we will only show this visibility whenever the user click on the note item. So now this fragment save or update, which is save or delete note, is also created successfully. Now we have to create the navigation graph, which is the most important thing to move between fragments. So we have to create a new directory, resource, new Android resource directory, give the directory name is navigation, and set the resource type is navigation. Click on OK. Now inside this we have to create a nav graph, new navigation resource file, give the file name is nav graph. Now this is also created successfully. So here we have to add our fragment. So click on this, and first fragment is our fragment node. So click on this. So it is added successfully here. You can see. Now second fragment is fragment save or delete. So it is also added successfully here. So I can move from this fragment to this fragment. So I have to draw this line. And also I can move from this fragment to this fragment again. So I have to draw this again. So this all code is right here. So you can see the all code is written by Android Studio. Now this work is also finished successfully. Now only the work is left inside our main activity XML file, where we have to host our all fragments. So delete this text view and open your main activity XML file. Now inside main activity XML file, first of all we are going to use constraint layout. It is your choice whatever you want to use. Now inside this, what we have a frame layout. So take an open bracket, type here frame layout, set the layout with match parent. Then after this we have a ID, so I simply give the ID here, parent layout. Then bottom to bottom of parent, constraint bottom to bottom of parent, and top to top of parent. Then we have a start to start of parent, and then we have end to end of parent. Then close this. Now inside this, what we need a fragment container view to show the fragment container view. Set the layout with match parent, and set the ID. I set the ID fragment here. Then we have a name, so you have to set the name, it is most compulsory. So by default what I need here, you have to type here Android X dot navigation dot fragment dot nav host fragment. Then after this we have a default nav host, so it is not showing here, so we can type it manually. So we have to type here app default nav host, and inside this we have to pass it to true. Then we have a nav graph, so you have to type it again manually, nav graph, and inside this what I can type in nav graph. This is our navigation. So you can see now the work of, so finally the layout of our notes application using MVVM is finished, and you can see I write very clean code of entire thing. So maybe you learn lots of things inside in this series, and there are lots of things you will going to learn when we will write code for room database, how to set the data, how to pass objects between fragment, how to move between fragments and destinations, and lots of other things. So stay tuned with this series. Thank you. So please like the video if you don't like the video till now, and please subscribe the channel, and please share the video with your friend if you want more content on Android. And if you support me, then I will try to bring the more and more content as soon as possible. So please like the video, please subscribe the channel, and please share the video. And if you have any question, just comment down below. So thank you for this video. Let's see you soon in next amazing part of the notes application series. Thank you.